Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating, honestly quite provocative worldview. We're unpacking the teachings and writings of the Guy Xufeng, the founder of Life Tianyuan. His texts make a massive claim. Traditional religion is completely obsolete. In fact, he argues that instead of uniting us, it's actually a barrier to our progress. So we're going to impartially break down exactly how this text diagnoses modern faith and look at the radical unification it proposes instead.
Let's jump straight into this absolutely massive assertion from the text. Religion will disappear. Notice how there's no middle ground there? It doesn't say religion will just evolve or kind of fade away. It says it will completely vanish. Xu Feng argues this is a natural cycle, that humanity literally has to outgrow its established faiths to ever find true peace. But before completely dismantling it, the text actually acknowledges why religion existed in the first place.
Okay, so let's look at how Xu Feng defines religion, starting from a really kind-hearted place. Originally, it was meant to be an ideological framework. Think of it as a bridge, guiding humanity from the chaotic material world over to the peaceful non-material world. It was a tool designed to help people establish belief, enlighten their minds, and really just find some inner peace. The original intention? Undeniably noble.
But right here is where we hit the paradox. The original intent was all about maintaining inner silence and world peace. The current reality, though, well, the text points out that because of human limitations, those noble teachings splintered into countless contradicting factions. And rather than bringing peace, these deep divisions have actually become a primary factor driving our turbulent world today. It really is a zero-sum game in this philosophy. The text states, with the existing of religions, human beings will never share peace and tranquility. So it doesn't frame religions as just slightly flawed systems that need a little tweaking. No, it frames them as active, immovable barriers to global harmony.
Section. The agitation. 8 shortcomings of religion. Diagnosing the sickness of the current system.
To back this up, the source aggressively diagnoses what it calls the 8 fatal flaws of current religions. The first 4? Well, first, it claims religions are ignorant to life, meaning they're confused about the actual road to heaven. Second, they create terror, using doomsday scenarios to basically fetter or lock up human thinking. Third, they act autocratically, plotting to control people while refusing to learn. And fourth, they are suppressive. The text argues that rigid doctrines act like literal ropes, tying down the natural human spirit. And the critique just deepens from there. Fifth, all religions supposedly run counter to the Tao, failing to explain the true essence of life. Sixth, and the text actually cites dark historical examples here, like the burning of Giordano Bruno, institutions violently suppress emerging progressive ideas. Seventh, they actively stir up wars to maintain their own power and benefits. And finally, number 8, they waste massive resources, disturbing nature's peace by building giant temples and idols. So, the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. While religion might have helped preserve ancient civilizations back in the day, the Life Tianyuan teachings argue it has completely degraded into an obstacle. We are effectively handcuffed by our own spiritual systems. And the argument is, without breaking those handcuffs, human civilization literally cannot move forward. Which naturally leads us to a massive rhetorical dilemma. If humanity has to break these handcuffs to advance, can a world dominated by competing major religious systems ever actually achieve this unification? The author asks some really pointed questions to make this case. Will Christianity give up its doctrines to accept Islam? Will Islam yield to Hinduism? Will Hinduism surrender to Buddhism? The expected answer, of course, is no way, because these systems are fundamentally designed to safeguard their own exclusive teachings at all costs. Global unification under the current system is deemed completely impossible.
Section. The solution. The Life Tianyuan era, unifying all doctrines into one. Because compromise is seen as impossible, Xu Feng proposes a radical, sweeping shift. Think about it, traditional religion relies on exclusive truth, fanatical idol worship, and incredibly strict doctrines. But in the proposed Life Tianyuan era, founders like Jesus, Buddha, or Lao Tzu are simply respected as great teachers, not exclusive deities you have to fanatically worship. The focus shifts entirely away from temples and dogmas toward a shared reverence for the greatest creator, offering maximum freedom in thought and spirit. Basically, no more ropes.
The text also makes a really sharp observation about modern society's changing views.
Historically, society viewed religious believers as elegant and noble. But today, the text claims that as human thought advances, fundamentalist believers are increasingly seen as stubborn, perverse, or even fiercely intolerant the second their dogmas are challenged. All of this builds to a pretty uncompromising ultimatum from the author. Quote, "The future mankind will enter into life-chain Yuan era. You have to give up your own religious belief." It insists that those who stubbornly cling to divided faiths won't be fought with weapons. Instead, they will simply be pitied, laughed at, and ultimately left behind by a newly unified human race.
And that wraps up our explainer, leaving us with the ultimate question raised by Zhu Feng's highly provocative writings. Is the complete abandonment of organized, dogmatic religion the necessary, inevitable step to achieve global harmony? Are our ancient faiths truly the biggest obstacle we face today? It's definitely a radical perspective, one that really forces us to examine the role of belief in the modern world. Thanks for joining me to unpack this text, and as always, keep questioning what drives our global future.